If you drive 1.5 hours north of Austin on Texas 317, you enter into an area that was once covered by millions of acres of remnant tallgrass savanna prairie. Today, less than 1% of that tallgrass prairie remains. You eventually come to a beautiful little spot called Simpson Prairie. Back in 1987, Mike and Marlis Williams purchased this 80 acres. As Mike was restoring his property, he began to try and figure out a way to preserve it forever. And that's where he came in contact with the Native Prairies Association of Texas. Mike was able to set up a conservation easement and thereby preserve this property in perpetuity. Through hard work and perseverance, trial and error, Mr. Williams has created the diamond in the rough that you see before you. Visiting the prairie over Memorial Day weekend, guests were able to see how a modest start can spread across the prairie. Now Mike has convinced his adjacent neighbor to return his land to native prairie, and others are becoming interested also. Because of the visible success of Simpson Prairie, the owners of the nearby Prairie Chapel Ranch have asked Mr. Williams to restore their land. The results have been spectacular, with the native grasses and flowers flourishing with the recent rains. In fact, much like Simpson Prairie, the Prairie Chapel Ranch stands out from the surrounding landscape, with vibrant color even into June. Mike has taken a 2-acre plot of native prairie seed, and that has germinated an entire 80 acres, which you see before you now. This is just a relatively small piece of property, but this is what it takes, is to start small and to grow. The piece of property in Travis Country is very similar to what Mike started out with in the Simpson Prairie. Through the Native Prairies Association of Texas, it's hoped that someday this 12.45 acres can be preserved and enhanced much the way Simpson Prairie has been. What sets the Simpson Prairie apart from the Chapel Ranch and other restoration projects is that the ground has never been turned by a plow, a characteristic it shares with the 12.45 acres at the heart of Travis Country. That is what makes the two properties remnant savannas, and uniquely suited for restoration and preservation. So as the Travis Country residents move toward preserving the 12.45 acres of remnant savanna, known as the AISD property, they and others can look towards the Simpson Prairie and Chapel Ranch as examples of small but significant preservation efforts that provide important habitat and green space for the community, but also help preserve a grassland that is endangered.